I'm dreadful when it comes to second-hand stores. I always dig through them, always looking for bargains, always working on the basis that one man's junk might be another one's gold. And to be honest, I was at our model boat club's lifeboat day, saw this on the second-hand stall, this box of bits, and it had been sat there for quite a long time and nobody else obviously was particularly interested in it, so for £3.50 I snapped it up. But the question is, did I get a bargain? Well, let's have a look in the box and let's go through some of the compartments. Now, it's all electrical gubbins, or mostly electrical gubbins in here, so let's have a quick look to see what we've got. Well, we've got a couple of push-to-make switches, square ones. They're quite nice, and they appear to be brand new. And then another push-to-make switch that's attached to a battery box, which is full of little button cells. Can't get that on BF, trust me, there's a row of button cells in there and a push to make switch. I think this comes from one of those sets of lights you can buy, which has got a in the box, it's got a button on the front that says push this and you can try the lights when they're on the shelf in the shop. So 3 push to make buttons and possibly a rather useless battery box. That would appear to be a 2-pin plug that would go onto a servo lead or something. This all looks like this is earth strap equipment for when you're working. Oh, that's an interesting jury-rigged cable with a 3.5mm jack on the end of it. Not sure how useful that's going to be, but the cable itself isn't bad. This is an earth strap. You put this around your wrist. You clip this to a radiator or something to earth yourself when you're working on components that can be affected by static electricity. Moving on down to the front, we have some screws and a pendant for the top of your area when you're sailing radio control or using radio control. This would have been for a 2.4 setup, not a 2.4 setup, sorry, a 26 meg or a 40 meg, and the color would denote the frequency, and you'd look around the lake and see who was using which colors and make sure they're not on the same one, and you're laughing. What have we got next? Some chocolate blocks, old ones, obviously being used, still work fine. More lights. Now, some grain of wheat bulbs in yellow and green. A couple of LEDs in there, LED wired up to something, and this little thing, which I would guess, if you can work out where the batteries go in the whole setup, those lights probably flash when you push the remains of that button there. Somebody obviously collects junk and won't throw away electrical bits, a bit like myself. Some more screws, another little battery box that holds a pen. I think this holds button cells again, and open that one up. Yeah, a couple of button cells in there. Not awfully useful, but hey, you know, it came with it. Some plastic bits, no idea what those are for. And something that gets hot and you must not touch it. No idea what that is at all, but we'll carry on moving along. Right, couple of torpedoes. Now actually these weren't in the box when I bought it, they were separate, but it was like, let's make the pile up to a £5 to save messing around with cash. So I have a couple of, I think, resin torpedoes. No idea what I'm going to use them for, but I'm sure they're useful. However, we come to the thing that attracted me most about this, and this is basically the reason I bought it. This is, for the uninitiated, let's see if the camera can focus on it, this is a speed control for a radio control item. It's similar to what used to be known as a bobby board. Essentially, power in there, output out of these two. Not sure why it's got a servo connector on there, because actually what you do is you connect a servo to this, it rotates the arm, and this is a resistance, so as you move it around it alters the resistance and then can alter the speed of the motor in whatever you're doing. I kind of saw this and thought, That might be interesting to put into a vintage model boat. I've got a few vintage model boats kicking around, so I thought it might be quite fun to see if I could fit a proper vintage model speed controller. More buttons here. Again, these are from these again Jelly's button cells. These are from these sets of lights where you can press the button. Various servo top bits, handy. Now I've got a big pile of LEDs here. Big pile of LEDs. They all look pretty unused, a little scruffy, but there's a good collection of them in various sizes. And there's a few quid's worth of LEDs, I would have said there, because we go from the very small to the larger ones. More LEDs on boards. Again, no idea what they are, but I know exactly how they ended up there, because they're the sort of thing you think, oh, that's useful, I'll hang on to it, and then you sit it in a box and eventually put it on the Model Boat Club boat stand, bring and buy stand to get rid of it. Tiny little Phillips Allen key shaped screwdriver. That really is tiny, but you get a bit of torque on that, so that might, again, that's an unexpectedly interesting little thing found in the bottom of the box. Some mini blade fuses, 10 amps, won't come out the bottom there very easily. Battery box for 3 AA cells, 27 meg receiver. I mean, to be honest, we don't use 27 meg anymore. We've all pretty much gone over to 2.4 gig because it just saves a lot. It saves a lot of messing around at the waterside, and some odd bits of wire. And a thing. It's another one of those. What on earth is that for? I think some of this stuff is definitely destined for the bin. And of course, the box itself. Now, if I can stuff those bits of wire back in there, the box itself has a value. A quick look at the web shows I can have a unit with 4 of these in for about 30 quid. Wilko sell a slightly smaller version of this for £3.50. So the fiver I paid for this actually is beginning to look like a bit of a bargain. Just shows you need to pay attention. The best thing about it is that if I tidy this up a bit, if I desolder some of the LEDs, throw out some of the junk, maybe I can sort out my messy components pile as well. And if I can sort that out and tidy it up and make them more accessible, then this will have proved to be an absolute bargain.